sci-fi does this very good job of holding this giant mirror/lens to current world problems and really put a spotlight on it. So that's the drama driving point of this show.
Any ship that 6 of 9's on.
7 of 9.
7 of 9.
One
number close.
Big Smoke, it's time to join hands in the Kumbaya circle. Get
your hand away from me. Get your hand away from me.
Grab my hand, Big Smoke.
Hey there, Midnighters and Moonlighters. This is your closer in chief with the check-in. Tonight's been another relatively peaceful, quiet night, and... Oh, wait, hold on. So I got a note here from Big Smoke. It says, Chief, they got me training the new guy starting up next week, going through his orientation paperwork. Please don't forget to check in on Jolly. He's up on the 7th floor watering the plants, and I'm worried he might forget which ones are likely to be carnivorous. Oof, yeah, I better go check on that. In the meantime, head on over to the break room. We'll meet up with you shortly. And hey, if you ever had to retrain the new guy because you know day shift didn't do it right before sticking him on your shift, hit those like and subscribe buttons. This one's for you. Welcome to Nightwatch. This is your closer-in-chief here with the Nightwatch crew, Big Smoke and Jolly Green. How you boys doing tonight?
We're doing all right.
I am here.
Greetings, everybody.
Aloha.
All right, so we were just discussing before I foolishly did not hit the record button. We were talking about fantasy and sci-fi, how it's kind of changed and adapted over the years, what drew us in over time to these different genres. So, you know, we were talking about Star Trek, talking about...
Yeah, Star Trek, the old great. I was, when I found out, this was like one of the rare times when I delved into the back, behind the scenes stuff. It was originally set to be a drama. It wasn't set to be a sci-fi. But it couldn't compete with Days of Our Lives and As the World Turns and stuff. It just didn't have a draw. But then when they changed the target audience to kids as a sci-fi, almost campy thing, it blew up.
Yeah.
But by the time...
For the better.
Yeah, but by that time, it only, it was on its last legs and it only did 3 seasons. Mm. But... yeah, the original, people dug the dynamic between Kirk and Spock.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that wasn't quite a bromance, but it was kind of a bromance.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't even know what that word was when I was a kid, but definitely it's like, yeah, if you saw these two in the same screen, you knew it was like, okay, some shit's about to go down. Mm-hmm. They were polar opposites.
I would say they're perfect together. They what is that? Complement each other perfectly.
Complement and contrast. There was quite a few episodes in the original series where it was a lot of like, Kirk was getting up to his old antics and trying to bag every walking female alien species, man.
Yeah.
Which
let's get in there and check these women out, Spock. Now, Kirk. Yeah.
Kirk.
Remember, we got to stop at the convenience store and get a condom. we gotta.
But I mean, so Kirk was every bit that impulsive, yes, but passionate. He was that driven,
swashbuckling,
yeah. And the classic, captain's stereotype. And then you got, Spock balancing him out, being the calm, cool, collected, logical reasoning, until he wasn't, because he was half human.
Yep.
And so, I'm trying to remember, was he Vulcan?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Romulan, and I know that's close. But
they are subspecies.
Yeah,
distant cousins.
Yep. Yeah, but so he's half human, half Vulcan, and so he every once in a while gets that temperament and that emotional flash of anger or
usually when
fear,
he catches a cold or something.
Right,
he catches a virus. All of a sudden, he wants to bag chicks too.
Well, what was that? There was an episode where like he went into heat or something like that.
Yeah, the Palm Far.
The Palm
Hell yeah, perfect.
That cat dude, he was like, yeah, you got to get me back to my planet. I got to get laid. Yeah, I got to get married. I got to have some kids. I love that guy. He was awesome. Nearly killed his captain over it.
Fuck it. So, I told you I was watching the Orville finally. I had some recommendations to check out the series, and I went and checked it out. And yeah, it's really good sci-fi.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it good sci-fi?
Yeah, it goes. See, what happens with the Orville is the same thing that happens with a lot of sci-fi. It's really like campy at first, or it's like really, expressive, and then it gets into its serious stuff. It goes real deep, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
When they tackle just about every major issue. Social media. There's a whole episode dedicated to social media.
I love that one. Yeah,
it's like a whole episode.
The whole planet is a pure democracy where everything is public opinion and public voting, and everybody goes around with these little badges as their like ID cards, but it's an up and down vote button. And if you get like above 1 million downvotes or something like that, you get arrested because you're basically a wanted criminal at that point. Jeez. And if you get above 10 million downvotes, you get basically lobotomized, and that resets your counter. But yeah, it's
I need recommended it. I've not seen it yet, but
very highly recommended because it's got a lot of that Seth MacFarlane-esque comedy touches to it and everything. But I swear to God, man, Seth MacFarlane had to have seen every episode of Star Trek and was like, you know what? I want to do it right. I'm going to do it my way, and he did. I have some minor complaints.
Everybody does,
but only specifically about the design of the ship. My tism got spiked hard when I first saw that ship because it's got a very unique profile. It definitely looks like a good sci-fi ship design. It's got like this, kind of almost squid-like or octopus-like profile or silhouette to it. My issue is that the back end, the nacelles that connect to the engines, these big rings. And there's like a big opening in the ring on the bottom and on the top that if you were to fly cargo ships or the loaders or the shuttles or whatever through,
it crash.
You would want to go above or under, but instead they fly between the nacelles because the cargo bay is right in the middle that kicks out right in that back ring.
It looks like an asshole.
It does, and so it's like.
And I think, and I don't care how many people say that.
I was about to say
that's design.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay. Can I do a YouTube plug on somebody else's YouTube?
Yeah.
I watch this guy named Space Docs, and I think he's got a good following.
Space Docs, yeah. I'm subscribed to Space Docs. Man.
He breaks down the ships. So it'll be ships from all walks of life, and he'll break it down and everything else. And
he does every sci-fi show.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's good. It's good.
It's like,
okay.
I watched that show just to go, okay, I get that. Okay, I see how I'm like, man, who is these? I mean, it can't be just him. It has to be like a group of people that are getting together going
researching.
Because like there's one show way before both of you guys. It's called Babylon 5.
He does a few of them.
Yeah, he does a whole bunch of those ships and how they're flying.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. That was a really good one. But when he did Babylon 5, I used to wonder, it's like, okay, these things aren't flying like freaking Star Wars.
Why? Yeah.
And he's explaining, it's like, okay, why the ships are shaped the way they are and the way they move.
Yeah.
And I'm going, holy crap. He's right.
Yeah, Stargate 9, Halo, 9. Star Wars. I mean, he does it all. Oh, secondary question. Lower Decks. Opinion on it, Big Smoke.
Look, the over-the-top campiness of a Star Trek, drama, I thought it was great. I mean, okay, of course they go over the top.
Yeah.
With, the mom is a captain, and then, like, her misfit daughter is, like, she's brilliant. But she doesn't want to be past the lieutenant stage. So she's like on the lower decks of the ship. Like she works with the freaking janitors and stuff. Everybody who's lower tier. And all of them are special in their own way, but they're misfits. They're unaccomplished. Yeah. And she could be a captain of her own ship, but she's lazy. She doesn't want the responsibility. So every time something like catastrophic goes haywire, she jumps in, saves the day, and then she's like, no, don't promote me. Don't promote me. I don't want to be promoted. I thought that was the greatest thing.
Similarly in the Orville, Lieutenant Lamar on the bridge, he's part of the bridge crew and everything. They find his records, and he's like, a genius and is like he's got like 6 different PhDs or some shit like that. You know, it's like or a bunch of different degrees and shit.
And all he wants to do is fly the ship.
Well, he wants to like just keep things chill and casual. It's just like because he was the navigator, and then he's like, and then they're like, yeah, we need a new chief engineer. So he's like, I want you to, because he doesn't want to be in charge. He doesn't want to be in leadership and everything. And that was a really fun episode. Kind of hit close to home a little bit. Of somebody who just wants to kind of cruise and get by in life. But
I like this. I like the blob, the slime, because
Yaphet.
Yeah, because that dude was trying to bag every chick on the ship, and he actually got with the doctor. Cause she got like messed up or something like that. And
it was the blue alien guy who was
her,
which fucking
caused the divorce.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the actor who plays him. What was his name? Oh my God!
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Yes. Final answer. Rob Lowe.
Final answer. Space Dogs does Mass Effect too. I thought I should add that one in too. He does Mass Effect ships. Any.
But Rob Lowe plays the blue alien that caused the divorce in the first episode. But apparently, his species gives off this like this pheromone once a year that affects other species. Everything. And Yaphet being a blob, the pheromone got stuck in him and became like a diffusing agent, and so he was basically giving off that same pheromone, and so he ended up hooking up with the doctor and everything. And
it was funny because like basically she just sits in him, and he's basically all over her and in her from every orifice, and she's like, and I'm like, God damn, that was an experience for her, man.
Oh fuck, But yeah, all this circle back around the what was that? The Parmfar or whatever.
Yeah, Parmfar.
Bortus. There we go. But Bortus, he gets the one episode because like my species only urinates once a year. So they had an episode where they had to go back to his homeworld so he could participate in a ceremony called the release.
Basically just let's go into this cavern where everybody lets go into the cavern. It's like, they had some. I mean, Bortus' species, that is an anomaly. They don't eat organic matter.
Well, they don't only eat organic matter.
They only eat organic matter.
No. They can eat just about anything. Yeah. They can get nutrients from just about anything. He's like sitting there in the cafeteria. They make a game out of it. Like, hey, here, eat this napkin. And he like takes a big bite out of the napkin, chews it up. It's like, all right, try this and this. And like they go to the food matter. Replicator. And they like make a cactus, and he eats the cactus. And he's like, eat this glass. He just eats the glass and just crunches on it.
Yeah, just this one guy, this redhead dude. He's like the comic relief of the show, and he's just
the pilot.
Yeah, and he's just
Gordon,
and he just makes everything just stupid funny.
Yeah, he really is like the ultimate dude bro on the ship.
What's so messed up about Bortus' group is like they want to mix Vulcan with what though? He's like
Klingon.
He's like a mixture of Klingon and Vulcan, and then they like mess everything up with. They make I won't say let's be politically correct. They make all of them male. Every species, they're all male. Well, they might be born female, but they'll transgender them at birth to be male. Yeah, they do that with the whole species, and that
was the whole episode they did on that one.
I wish they wouldn't have done. I thought you said I wish you would have just said they do it front like they're all male, because a lot of sci-fi I think they do that for only woman species, and all the men are like, yeah, you know what I mean? It'd been cool if from birth, you know what I mean? It'd been a cool, but you never hear the whole species is male. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah, well, what was it, like 1 in a million or something like that is born female, and they
just transgender them at birth. Now, then there were a couple of other episodes where they find this one female at the other species. She like her family, her 2 dads, basically hide her away for her whole life.
Yeah,
And that was a bad episode. Whoa, dude, that hit all kinds of nerves.
yeah, it was well. So, and this leads me into one of my favorite aspects of sci-fi, right? So, the big glaring difference between fantasy and sci-fi that I always like to point out is that fantasy gives us that opportunity to like really take a look at an ideal world of what we want it to be like, and include all these aspects of magic and heroicism and shit like that. Sci-fi does this very good job of holding this giant mirror/lens to current world problems or issues and really put a spotlight on it. And yes, a lot of times it's done in like either an absurdist or in a very fictional way, but it's that premise, that message is very prominent. I mean, the Star Trek, the original series, a show that came out back in the 60s, was very heavily used to influence civil rights stuff.
One of the most watched episodes and canceled episodes was one where the black chick kisses the captain. They were forced to kiss.
Yeah, they had to put it under the guise of one of them was mind controlled and it being influenced, and Uhura and Kirk make out, and it was the first interracial kiss that happened on screen. On screen,
and all the South, like they didn't play that episode. You literally had to go above the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, I mean,
to see it.
I remember specifically one of the episodes. It was like these two guys. They were the last of their kind from their homeworld. And they were these two super powerful, interdimensional beings.
Well, you got to describe them first,
right? So they're both like black and white. They're like hardcore, like a chessboard, right? Mm-hmm. But for the one guy, he was left half was white, right half was black, and then the other guy was left half was black, right half was white. And that was their difference, right? That was the racial tension. And they were, their whole species went to war over it, and they were the last two remaining survivors fighting each other across the cosmos.
About it at the time, remember?
Well, yeah, they were just fighting and traveling, and then they find out that they were the last two.
This is still Orville, right?
No, this is Star Trek original series. Oh. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth.
No, you're fine. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
And there's so much Star Trek stuff that I've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, see, when you get to this older stuff, I mean, you got Star Trek, the first generation, and then they made a cartoon, because that's the thing, like they make a live drama.
I love the
cartoon. Then they would make a cartoon after it. And so, like, if you get to the cartoons, and then they get to the movies, and then they'll do 3 or 4 movies.
I'm a sucker for doing stuff in chronological order in the universe. So I'm like, I'm gonna get into Star Trek. I look it up, and there's like, you watch this, and then a little bit of this, and then you watch that, and then you watch full this, and I'm like, maybe I'm going to set this off for another day.
They bounce around a lot. I mean, hell, the original series, the pilot episode was about Captain Pike.
Yeah.
Not even Captain Kirk. But he didn't test well with the audience or whatever, so they
did another pilot.
So they did another pilot with Kirk, and then they bring Pike back later on to do the zoo episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No. The pilot was the zoo episode, but the one they did later was it was a trial. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who was on trial. I can't remember if it was Kirk or Pike. Somebody was one of the two was on trial, and the other one came in to like basically bail him out, and they ended up. I remember they did a Futurama episode that was parodying that one because whoever was like all like burnt up and was in this machine that was talking for him, and so they used the same thing in the Futurama episodes. Like that was the stand, the witness stand or whatever. Yeah. So that was their witness stand. Was you get on into this thing and you talked through the chair and told the story or whatever. So
it's funny, like. That episode cracked me up because this dude was stuck. He basically was a beeping light in this like full body suit, like wheelchair. And they're like in the 23rd century. And you think they built this dude a body, so this dude can at least talk in real sentences. But it's kind of like it's when like they were thinking far ahead, but they couldn't think past the 1960s. It's 1960s imagining 23rd. Technology.
Yeah, it's like Fallout, it's
So it was
retrofuturism.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I was sitting there going, nobody can build. And then like when they take him to this planet where they were masters of illusion, and the illusion was he was in his real body, and he basically he wasn't in a wheelchair. He just walking down the stairs to this new world where he was able to be in a regular body. He's still in a wheelchair. You just can't see it. Your perception of him being in a wheelchair. I mean, I was a kid when I saw that episode, and I was like, "What the?" what is going on here? Me and like 6 other kids are going, I don't know.
I'm confused.
How did he get legs all of a sudden?
Another good captain, Janeway.
Captain Janeway.
Yeah, she's all right.
Voyager, right? Nah. Yeah, Voyager.
Yeah.
You can miss me with that because she made all kinds of stupid ass mistakes.
I mean, she's all right. I mean,
no.
Oh, you're just saying that because she was a woman.
I'm gonna say
every Star Trek captain makes so many mistakes. That's the drama driving point of this show.
Any ship that 6 of 9's on.
7 of 9.
7 of 9.
One number close.
He watched the booty episode. That's all he did. Okay, check this out. Okay.
Oh, she's integrating with me. Oh, she's assimilating me.
Oh shit, am I a man or am I a woman? No, see here, this was messed up about Voyager. Okay, as a captain of a starship, she had like 200 people on, more than a little over 200 people on this ship, and they get stuck. First, they're chasing fugitives. Okay, that's how the show starts. They're chasing like basically terrorists. They were Federation citizens, but they were being beat up by the Cardassians, so they went pirate and started messing up Cardassians left and right. So the Federation as a whole had to hunt them down, and that's what's happening. They're chasing down these Maquis. That's the name of the terrorists. They're called Maquis, and they're chasing these guys through this terrorist zone called the Badlands. So they're chasing them down, and then they get sucked into like I think it was the Delta Quadrant or something far away.
It was a Delta Quadrant because that's where the Borg are close to.
And it was done by this big ass machine. Okay, now at the beginning, it was so long. The episodes, there were 2 parts of it. First part, they find out this machine does it. Then they find out that it's this old creature who is dying, and he sucked them back. Said, "Hey, look, you need to protect these people that I've been guarding from the bad guys on the surface of this planet." Janeway's first action should have been, "Nah, fuck you. I'm getting my people back." No, we're gonna try to help these people who don't want to be helped because the Guardian has been protecting them for so long that we don't need any help. And Janeway's like, "Hey, you gotta come with us, or we gotta help you because the Guardian isn't gonna be around for much longer. He's dying." They're like, "No, screw you. The Guardian is always gonna help." It's like, that was their god. So he dies. The Guardian, he dies. So then they gotta.
I think I remember that episode.
So then the other guys, knowing that the guy had died, they were like, "Oh, we get to take over this space array and we'll conquer the universe." Janeway's first reaction should have been, "Nah, you guys aren't doing that shit. We're getting out of here. This is y'all business. We're out." No, I'm going to shoot the thing and destroy it. And I'm stranding me and my kid and my crew out in the Delta Quadrant with no logistics, no supply. And I'm just going to fly back for 1,000-year trip. We ain't got no cryo tubes or nothing like this. There ain't no hypersleep. People are going to be old and dead by the time we get back to the Delta Quadrant. Miss me with that entire thing. Miss me. That's dumb. That's fugazi. Get my ass.
Fugazi.
I'm like, we about to mutiny, Captain. You better get my black ass back into the Alpha Quadrant.
Oh God.
Where I can get me some pizza.
All right, but so
now I can see Big Smoke over there starting to mutiny.
Look, you gonna tell me we gotta stay out in the middle of the Delta Quadrant and help these poor people who don't want to be helped? Nah, dude, we're for the Federation. Screw it. Besides, Prime Directive says we're not supposed to be messing with indigenous species. Get my ass back on this thing. Get me to the Delta Alpha Quadrant, Captain.
Yeah, but I mean, how often is that getting?
And then she says no,
ignored all the time.
Yeah, but look, it's either me and my crew or the rest of the universe. I'm picking me and my crew.
Yeah, and I mean, they show time and time again that the ideal, Federation captain is selfless and,
Yeah. Miss me. Hey, Captain, what's that?
Holy shit, what's that?
Was it Spock says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
Oh my God, you stunned her. No, that wasn't on stun. I was about to say, that wasn't on stun.
No, she was on lock. She'd be on lockup at the very least.
To the brig.
Yeah.
To the brig with her.
And that's the whole thing. And then like the whole series after that is them making series of jumps and mistakes on the way back home, and they're trying, and they don't. It's not like they can fly full speed going back home. They got to stop. Someone's got to go to the bathroom. They got to stop for various reasons.
Mm.
And each
Fuel supplies.
Yeah, trade and shit. Look, they noticeably had a higher degree of technology than everybody else they were running around with, except for a few people that was like, oh shit, you can teleport from planet to freaking planet, and all we got to trade is a few stories for this technology. And Captain goes, no, we're not going to do that. What the fuck? What do you mean no? You just shot a whole space station, stranding our asses here for the people. Why can't you do this for the crew? I mean, every time it was for the crew's benefit. Oh no, we can't do that because the Federation will not allow it. But man, miss me. I want to go home.
Janeway on the bridge, fire on the array. Big Smoke turns around. Oh, fuck that! I ain't doing that. Well, this is a good segue into.
Oops, I missed.
Yeah, oops. Oh, our phaser banks are down.
No.
Yeah. Oh man.
I didn't recharge it this morning, Captain. It's going to take about 9 years for me to fix this. Man, fuck that.
Well, this is a good segue into another question, which we was talking about it before, but for the audience sake, which captain then you picking, Big Smoke?
Benjamin Sisko.
There we
go. Okay.
For reasons.
Listen, okay, it's not just because he's black.
No.
Okay, there was a show called Spencer for Hire before he did this spot. That he was a character, he was an enforcer / bodyguard, mercenary. His name was Hawk, and Hawk was the man. He was suave, he was debonair, he was a murderer for hire, and I loved that guy. And then, of course, when he became Benjamin Sisko, I'm like, oh shit, Hawk's on the deck. We're going to have some murdering. We're going to have some. And he was more of an intellectual and.
A Picard type, basically?
Yeah, well, Picard was the intellectual. He was the ambassador. He was the peacekeeper. Benjamin Sisko was more of a, I'm going to get the job done. Okay. It's going to take some, he had self-respect. And he had like a conscience, and worse, the short version. There's these aliens who chose him to be an emissary. So he was forced into an ambassador role, but he wasn't an ambassador.
No.
So doing that, he got forced into it. But he was like, look, dude, I don't care if you guys like it or not. We're going to do this, and it's for your benefit. So just take your medicine and be done. And he had to do that between him, the Federation, and the Kardashians, the Kardashians and the Klingons, and the Klingons and the Breen. He had to shuffle all those decks. And then there was this new badass that came like in the later seasons. They were called the Dominion, of all things. They didn't negotiate with anything. They just took over shit.
Yeah.
And so then it became everybody against the Dominion, and they almost lost.
So I misworded that. When I said the Cardassian War, was there a Cardassian War, or was it called the Dominion War?
Well, see, it was the Dominion War, but the Cardassians
were in the Dominion War.
Yeah.
Okay, so I messed up on that. It's called the Dominion War.
How dare you?
I know.
Get so many,
Lord.
We're going to get so many comments about...
Yeah. So, Chief, who you picking?
I'm a diehard Kirk fan. From the time I got into the series, even through the Chris Pine movies,
those are good movies. I didn't like the last one where they're surfing on the nanobites. That was fugazi.
I didn't see that one. I did not see I have not seen the newest one. I saw the first two that they did, but
it was an alright movie up to that point. And then I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Kirk strikes me very much as that military commander. Like, because you figure in the original series they were dealing with first contact with the Klingon, and I believe towards the end of that was the Romulans, or was that Next Generation?
No, that was Romulans.
Okay, so yeah,
they actually found where they first ran into a ship that could go stealth.
Right.
And the stealth, they were blowing up space station. Yeah. They're like, oh shit.
And the Klingons, they were just rocking just firepower out the ass. So every Starfleet captain at that point, had some combat experience. Or
the bird of prey.
Well, see, like what's funny about the Klingons is like if you showed any kind of weakness toward the Klingons, they'd attack.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's like the guy told, hey, look, you need to attack first. Shoot. Then say, hey, how you doing? You sit there and go, we come in peace. That's the worst thing you could do with those guys. They wanted to fight.
But so you were talking about with the captain from which was it?
DS9.
From DS9 making the Janeway.
Janeway was Voyager.
Voyager, right? So we were talking about Janeway and how she would make a lot of bad calls because she would be putting the other people before her crew.
Yeah.
Kirk was very much my crew.
My crew comes first.
Before anything.
Yeah, and that dude was, die hard, ride or die, loyal to his fucking crew. That guy, an inspirational leader to be sure.
It was like his ship and his crew. They he broke Prime Directive. They say in the written lore, he broke the Prime Directive more times than any captain in existence. Because if it got in the way of what he wanted to do, he simply said, "Yeah, okay, they'll forgive me for it." That's why he didn't become admiral for a long time because he kept getting demoted. He kept getting demoted. They kept taking his ship away from him because he was like, "Yeah, miss me. I'm going to do it my way. You guys can slap my hand later, put me in a comfy chair later because I'm going to do it this way."
And then they pull me back in. Pull me back in.
One last job.
And he kept doing it. That's how great he was. And his crew would follow him to hell and back.
Yeah.
It was like, they stole a ship for their captain. He's like, I need the ship. And we need to go back and get Spock. Yeah, well, I'm with you, Captain. Let's go. I'm good. I'm going with you. And they went and got that motherfucker. They went back and got him. Yeah. He was dead on a planet. And they're like, yeah. It might turn out he's not dead. I got half of this dude in my brain. Oh, let's go get him. Because this is sci-fi, damn it. We're going to go get him. And they went back and got him. Beat up a bunch of Klingons along the way. I'm like, shit. Janeway never would have made those decisions.
No.
Never. And he'd still be a Roger.
Picard also wouldn't make a lot of those decisions.
Picard would not.
He was very much a...
I have a problem with Star Trek with the aspect of, I understand wanting to, let's be peaceful. Let's go out. This is not a warship. This is we're here to discover, to explore. And I think that's a lot to do with the whole, before they discover...
warp technology.
Thank you.
Not warp.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many sci-fi different ways of traveling.
No,
I always
warp technology.
Is it warp? Yeah, it's warp. It's warp. It's warp 9, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
it's warp.
Discovery was pre-warp. And then there was the transmat beams.
Yeah, I try to.
I don't they called it in that one.
Well, technically, they're not the same thing.
Right? I know.
They make Discovery its own timeline.
Yeah,
it's not like. Yeah.
So I think a lot of the peacefulness in the Star Trek universe or
the Federation.
The Federation. Oh my lord! I don't know what I'm doing, people over here. Federation. It's just I think that boils back to when we nuked each other and nearly wiped out. I mean, I think it was not wiped out 85% of life on the planet, and then there was the feudal times where do you remember that one episode where Q9 or whatever his name is? Q
put humanity on trial.
Yeah, and there's the guards, and that's how it was. They were just drug addicts, and then they're like, kill that guy, and he's like. He gets a little bump just before he dies. It's little cords that connect to him, and they just were drugged out. You know what I mean? And that was pre-discovery by the Vulcans, which gave us the warp technology, and they kind of, I want to say uplift, but not really. Well,
you're skipping on. You're jumping. Okay, what happens when Q puts everybody on trial? They call that the post-apocalyptic horror. Yeah. That's when all the governments and shit went down and everything.
Yeah, the nukes hit, and then that was what came from it. Yeah,
and then everybody started killing. They killed off all the politicians. They killed off all the lawyers. And it's basically
a utopian society.
Yeah, they had one judge, and they had these enforcers. They were cyborgs. They were drugged up, and they had these big giant hand cannons on them.
Yep.
And if you were declared guilty, they killed you right there on the spot.
It's the judges from the Dread series.
They just shot your ass.
In front of everybody. Yeah.
They shot your ass right there in court. And Q being this omnipotent being, and they basically were just fucking with humanity based on what Picard would do fighting for humanity. It was a thing.
Which my boy Q, man. I mean, I don't know what it is about the omnipotent, all-powerful beings that just want to run around the galaxy.
You
And
just
mess
don't-
with stuff.
Yeah.
And
Just ultimate trickster, just the silliest of silly gooses.
The silliest of silly goose.
and he got them into so much trouble.
So much fucking trouble. He got them out of some trouble too.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
what was it? Their warp drive broke, and they slingshotted way too fucking far, and that was how they discovered the Borg in the first place. And then Q's
No,
like,
Q did that to them.
okay,
Yeah,
and?
Q said.
But before you find out, there was an accident. They find the Borg. It's
Well,
like
messed up is like,
he's like, hey,
Picard-
I did this so that you guys know about them because
Yeah.
they're coming.
well,
Now they're just coming a little bit faster, but you guys will be prepared.
yeah, but also Picard kind of like he thought he could just bump his gums at Q, and Q says, "Oh, you think you're the most powerful thing?" Snaps his fingers, and then he shot their asses way in Borg territory,
Yeah,
and didn't tell them what they were dealing with.
right.
And then they were like, "Okay, oh shit, there's this big giant block of technology sitting out there. You know, we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. We're gonna add your individual distinctiveness to our own. And they're like, who the fuck? And then they,
And their weapons didn't work
Yeah,
against them. Their
well,
shields
they
didn't
were-
stand up.
they're
They're
adaptive.
no, they worked once or twice.
Yeah, they're adaptive.
And then they were like, ha, I know what you're doing now. That's just fugazi. It's not gonna work anymore.
But that
And-
it leads back to the point. I'm just for you to think like, and I get there was a point to it, and we won't want war anymore. But to think that I'm gonna go into this galaxy, and everyone's gonna play nice with me. Don't get me wrong. Let the explorer vessels be explorers, but you need some battleships. You need some galleons. You need some firepower behind that. And I feel like if that would have been all these different wars.
Well, that's
With the
what happened.
Romulans and the Klingons, and they started getting better.
Well,
The new
yeah.
ships came out, but if you just use your head, I mean, you could have done this way before and saved millions upon millions of people.
No.
So you got to try talking first,
See,
and then
and that's the difference between practicality and
Diplomacy.
optimism. Yeah,
I mean-
he's optimist. He's like, we can talk this shit out. I'm like, no, motherfucker, shoot
Yeah.
first.
See, I don't think you should shoot first.
We'll pick through the ashes later, but
Both hands behind the back. You pull the olive out in the right hand, but you also got that phaser in the left hand. So if you want to slap that olive branch out of my hand, I'll be like, all right then, check his shit out.
what was that?
Check that bad boy
Mass
out.
Effect 2 when you meet Grunt, when you throw him out of the tank, he like
Yeah.
pins you up against the wall, and like you offer him a deal and everything, but then you find out you got a gun on him the entire time.
Oh yeah,
It's
you
like,
got that
oh,
little, you got the pistol on
yeah,
his chest. He's like, I like you, Shepard.
Yeah,
yeah.
offer one hand but arm
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah.
look, I thought that was the best part because when they were first fighting the Klingons, they were losing. They were losing because the Klingons were like just going balls to the wall with fighting.
Yeah, they weren't talking.
Yeah, they were just, and then they had to adapt to that, and then they started.
That's
winning.
when the Galaxy class
Yeah, that's
starships
when they-
started coming
yeah,
out.
That's
Yeah.
when they started putting a little more firepower
Yeah.
into, because the original Enterprise only held like maybe 450 crew. Enterprise D had
Yeah.
over 1,000.
Yeah, but they also started carrying civilians on the
Yeah,
on board and
well,
everything too. So
They carried so much armament on the D class. It's like it was just a walking giant phaser torpedo. That's all it was.
And you could even say, well, maybe they didn't know that there was other species out there. You get uplifted by another species. You know there's other species out there. I mean, come on, use your brain and then just...
I don't think that was it. I mean, you got to kind of look at it from the perspective of, say, the world was a bit bigger than it is now, and we hadn't explored all of it, right?
Mhm.
And we're going into a territory that has never been explored before.
Japan.
Are you rolling through with jeeps and all-terrain vehicles, or are you just immediately going in with tanks?
Well, when we
that is true. That's a
okay,
good
okay.
And if you roll in with tanks in the front facing, that shows open hostility from the rip, and you're gonna be getting.
I like to
attacked.
think in the
we
stage...
kind of always
Right.
looking that.
I like to think in the staging area, you send your explorers out, but in the staging area, you got them tanks to roll up behind them if K shit gets hairy,
You don't even got to go to Star Trek to know that we did that shit already. I mean, okay, Cherokee routinely attacked and killed every Apache they could ever get their hands on. They raped the women, stole the children. Okay, the Pawnee did the same thing to the Cherokee.
Mhm.
Okay, the Choctaw did the same thing to the Pawnee. Everybody was conquering and killing. They didn't talk. They brought the bows and arrows. Okay. When we first got onto the eastern side of the continent, okay, we thought we were just going to be farmers and shit. No. We ended up getting like laid under siege behind the walls because every time we stepped our head out, it was like pincushion with a bunch of arrows.
Yeah.
Okay. Until we started flintlocking their asses and started killing them and making like really forced-handed deals. Look, you gonna give me some of your goddamn wheat because we're starving and I'm tired of eating everybody's children. So we're gonna make peace. What's the gun? The gun is just to make sure that we have some peace, and add a whole bunch of forced immigration. We're just gonna run all these cats out of their houses and homes, okay? And then like when Ireland was starving, hey, look, hey dude, we're gonna take some of this Ireland land. Yeah, you're gonna be a worker bee. We call it indentured servitude, but it's not really slavery. It's just called indentured servitude. Right. You're gonna be working for me for the rest of your life. But you're gonna be good. We'll put you over here. We've always done it.
Well, talking about like aggressive diplomacy, that's like Japan. You was about to say, we rolled up. It was like, you want to trade? And they were like,
no,
nah. They were like, all right, you sure you don't want to trade? And they're like, no, we don't want to trade with you. It's like, that's cool. Went back. Got a couple more warboats, came back and blasted them, killed a bunch of people. Was like, you want to trade now? No, yeah. I want to trade now. Like, what do you got? Yeah.
It wasn't a question after that point. It was like, you go trade.
You go trade. All right.
And these are the prices that you're going to buy from it. Next thing you know, all these Japanese cats wearing bowler hats.
I was going to say, yeah. They got bowler hats, yeah. But yeah, like you said, I just started wearing, beaver top, you know what I mean? The chimney hats and stuff, and then suits and stuff.
I get what you're saying. To circle back around to my original point, though, it's like
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek, but
not feudal Japan.
Like I said before, sci-fi is this glaring spotlight on current event issues and shit. So like I said, you show up with a hostile front and then forcibly make the peaceful approach. And sometimes that is necessary because you are dealing with potentially people that aren't open to trade or negotiations until they're put in that position of case in point, the Klingon. They weren't talking until they're like, oh, these guys are actually fucking good warriors. Now we can talk to them because now we see respect and see eye to eye with them. And
I'm not even talking about that. Like I said, if you don't want to trade, okay, cool. You stay there, I'll stay over here. Don't start with us. Because we got shit in the back lines, but whatever. You didn't even get to force them. Just I find it naive that you would think, okay, there's us. That says something. Okay, we get uplifted by another species. I'm gonna roll the dice here and say there has to be a couple more species out there, and not all of them are gonna like us, or some are so genetically, physically different than us that we're just so very alien that we're just not gonna be compatible, or just outright. Their way of life is killing or consuming or absorbing or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think like the Rachni from Mass Effect.
The now off of Star Wars. Like, subscribe, and put comments at the bottom down there, please, guys.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Please.
Yeah, we actually need to get a lot better with doing that earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
and for my number one fan, Steffi. I love you out there,
baby girl.
Steffi. Steffi, you are my favorite. I'm not going to let that go this time. But, hey, look, I don't know. Star Trek really brought to my forefront. It's like, look, we're going to take over. You don't like it? Too bad. We got the guns. Kardashians were really cool about that. They were like, look, we're just going to take over. We need to... And they were basically, if I was going to give you a direct comparison, they were the Russians.
Okay.
They were basically as strong as their next expansion. And they kept expanding as far as they could take it. And anybody gave them a more unified front, they'd get stopped cold.
Yeah.
The Federation was stopping them cold.
Yeah.
What made the Kardashians even more powerful is they started dealing with the Dominion, and the Dominion, they ran the Delta Quadrant. They were the Delta Quadrant.
Okay.
And so you get that kind of expansion. They were like, look, we're in the Delta Quadrant. We own the Delta Quadrant. And now we got a wormhole going straight into the Alpha Quadrant. And you guys are all separated. So we're just going to take over. You know, it's going to be for your own benefit.
No.
Yeah, but we're taking over, okay? All this Federation Fugazi, we're going to go right through that, and you're going to be bowing down to us. And yes, you're going to bow down. There is no, I think you bow down. No, you're going to bow down. You're going to put your forehead to the ground, and you're going to kiss my boot. Because if you don't...
And at that point, I think we had some dedicated fighting ships, I think at that point. We were just throwing Mirandas at them and saying like, well, fuck, these things ain't working.
Well, they had, I wouldn't say the better technology, but they had a technology that a lot of people just couldn't cope with. They had clones of a fighter group that they breed to fight. That's all they did was fight from the time that they were born.
So kind of like the clone troopers.
Yeah, they're just like they were exactly like the clone troopers.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And they were addicted clone troopers.
Okay.
They had this thing called white that they had to like intravenously put into their veins, because if you didn't get that on a daily basis, they would die in horrific pain.
So it was kind of a control method
to
keep them in
I
line.
think their ships had something too, like shielding or their phasers. Maybe not even phasers. Well, there was something to do with their ships. They had something that was like really fucked us over. I can't remember what it was though.
Well, the thing with the Jim Hadar, that's the name of the fighter group. These guys. They considered the Dominion gods, and so when their gods ordered them to like kamikaze a ship, they kamikaze the ship without even hesitating. And they could manufacture these things. They didn't have to train you. They didn't have to give you food or clothing. All they had to do was keep you high and tell you where to fight.
Yeah,
they're like the ultimate Marines, and those guys were Ultramarines. They go out and they'll fight, and not the Federation, not the Klingon, and who else did they have on their side? They had a couple other, other like echelons,
minor
echelons fighting, and they were losing. And they had the Cardassians on the other side of the Alpha Quadrant, and they were coming out from this angle. The only ones who didn't get into the fight were the Romulans.
Okay.
The Romulans were on the other side of their DMZ, and they were just watching all this shit go down. And they had a attack treaty with the Dominion on the back end, saying like, "Hey, look, we got to deal with them. They're not attacking our outposts. They're not attacking our planets. So yeah, you guys, you can kick rocks.
Yeah,
you can kick rocks. You're on your own."
The Romulans had beautiful ships,
and this is why I love Benjamin Sisko. Benjamin Sisko faked. He did a propaganda campaign, and he said that the Dominion were secretly going to attack the Romulans when they were weak.
Red flag operation.
Yeah.
He was like, we're going to attack the Romulans when they're weak. And then he invited, I guess you could call him mid-tier, he wasn't left, he wasn't right, he was center. And he invited him over and said, "Hey, look, I got this secret meeting that I had recorded. I want you to see it so you can take it to your Romulan council and show them this data chip. They're about to attack you." It was all fake.
Yeah.
It was all fake. Had a expert forger to do this shit, and the fake wasn't quite good enough. And the Romulan figured it out. He's like, "Hey, this is a fake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to the Romulan council and tell them that you guys are a bunch of fugazi, and we're going to do that." Well, they killed him along the way.
Oh, no.
He was heading back, and they blew his shit up.
The Federation did, or the Dominion did?
No. See, here's the thing. They had a Cardassian spy on DS9. He was kind of like a double agent, and he's like, "I'm gonna put a bomb." He didn't tell Sisko. He just put the bomb on the plane. It went back and blew up out in the middle of the space area, and the Romulans come in and they check the wreckage and they find the data chip. It was all burnt up and shit, but it was still kind of functioning. And it showed that the Dominion was about to attack the Romulans. And through that fake tape, the Romulans turned on the Dominion and they got into the war and they started attacking.
Turned the
tide. And Sisko knew that. And he was like, "So, I am accessory to murder in the conspiracy to commit murder, and conspiracy to murder a forger who is also accessory to fraudulent material."
For the better good.
Exactly.
All for the greater good.
All for the greater good.
The greater good.
And he goes, and all it took was the death of a senator, a forger, and the self-respect of a Starfleet officer.
My moral fiber.
And, you know, down in my bones, I know it's wrong, but I can live with that because it's my crew against the world.
Right.
And he goes, yeah. I can get that. I can be down.
Yeah, I can still sleep with it.
I can sleep with that.
I don't know if I could, man. I don't know that I could if I could bring myself. I've never been through that kind of situation. You know, basically, my upbringing didn't put that in me. Right? That's not the kind of person I am. Wasn't the kind of person I was.
And neither was he. Neither was he, and that's why he needed somebody else.
To do the actual
things that he could not do. He could get a forger to make a fake propaganda tape. And knowing that tape probably wouldn't pass muster, he knew he had to kill the guy who was supposed to be designed to mislead. Mm-hmm. Put those two things together. He had to get the tape, put the tape in the guy's hands, knowing that the guy probably wouldn't fall for it, and then kill that guy with the tape in his hands. Mm-hmm. And then he had to kill the guy who made the tape.
Yeah.
So, like, he couldn't do that. Sisko couldn't do that.
He'd be the guy that could sign off on it, but he would.
Yeah, he could say, okay, I don't know what you're going to do.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, just do it. Oh, shit. What did you do? Yeah, he can be surprised afterward, but he couldn't do it initially. He knew that guy was going to do that. He just didn't want it. He couldn't see it. He needed
that plausible deniability.
Yeah, he couldn't be a part of it. And then when that guy did it, everything fell into place. And all he had to do was go, I let that happen. Can I live with that? Yeah, I can. I can live with it. I can do that because the overall effect is we got a whole entire nation in on a war against my enemy because I couldn't beat him by myself. I needed that guy to get into the fight. And now that he's in the fight, all right, it's time to have a drinky poo and celebrate, our good fortune.
See, like I said, man, sci-fi just does such an excellent job of just painting the problems into like a moral story. It's like because I mean, tell me that doesn't sound familiar as all hell as far as shit that's going on in the past couple of decades, past couple of years, past couple of months.
There's been a lot of unholy alliances.
What did you say? A red flag operation?
Yeah, that's what they call them.
Not the Mexican-American War. No.
Look, at any given time in the last 240 years, we've gotten into fights with France. We've gotten into fights with Mexico, Vietnam, Korea, Germany,
Spain,
Japan. Yeah, Spain for Florida. People have died over every inch of this land. Every inch. And sometimes there was double team and triple team. A few times we didn't win. But then we came back with overwhelming force and then we won.
No.
Okay, it's everybody has done it. It's just that from whatever time stamp in history that you want to look from, who was the good guy and who was the bad guy?
It's all decided by the victor.
Right, yeah.
I think he was about to say that, yeah.
Well, what I was going to say was like, I was going to ask you guys as far as your opinions on basically because of that mentality, because of what we've done as a country and everything, and how we came to be on top. We get labeled as colonizers.
Yeah, I love that. That's a new trope that I like to hear. It's like, from what point? That's what I'm like saying. From what point are we a colonizer?
The United States less so, just because we're basically like the youngest kid on the block, country-wise.
I would say less so in general, because I mean, like the Mexican-American War, we took them back to Mexico City. We could have owned all of Mexico.
No. We did own all of Mexico, and we gave them back. Gave it back to them.
No,
I feel like we just secured our borders to where we had national security, and we left it off. I mean, every nation in a way is a colonizing. Well, you need room for your people. You need room for your babies. You need more resources. You need more. I'm not justifying anything we did. I mean, we did some horrible stuff, but
I'm not justifying anything.
No. But
do you think it's an accurate statement, an accurate label?
Depends on who's looking.
Well, I mean, case in point, even just the United States. I know we just said that that we didn't do a lot of colonizing, but to to stretching from the original 13 colonies into what we are now.
No, I wouldn't call it colonizing. I call it
Killed a lot of people, moved a lot of people, took over by
the Trail of Tears. I'm gonna honestly, I was just kind of like on the fence, like, yeah, so. Yeah, we're colonizers.
No, we're conquer and control.
Not anymore.
Conquerors for sure.
No, I'm saying back then, the Trail of Tears, we're conquer and control.
Mm-hmm.
We won. We dictate. You do what we say. You could have fought to the last man. Some of the Comanches did.
Mm.
They didn't want to be slaves.
It would have ended the same way, just with more bodies.
It just would have ended quicker.
Would a colonizer be someone that wants to take over the whole world?
Not necessarily.
No. Conquerors take over the entire world.
Yeah, because I mean, what, England back in the day, the British Empire
controlled everything.
Yeah, at one point the sun never sets on the British Empire because of how far it spread. But then look what happened to them, right?
They spread too thin.
Mm-hmm. Same with the Roman Empire.
They did what the Romans did. They started making commanders out of the local forces, and the local forces, once they got high enough, said, "Okay, you're not as tough as you think you are. Get out."
Right. It's like, cool, you just gave us a bunch of weapons and training, and we want our homeland back.
See you later. Kick rocks.
Basically what we did.
World War II was the nail in the coffin for them, because I think one of the deals we made with them, they either gave us a land or something. They had to give up a lot of land, and then Germany took a lot of their land too. I just feel like, I forget what it was. It was something to do with World War II. Like, they did lose a lot of their foreign holdings.
Yeah, they started giving up a lot of their colonies, and so it was kind of part of the peace treaties and everything to end World War II. Like, hey, fucking everybody's, you got your country and your borders and what's in it, and that's you. No more of this. Oh, we also own this and this and this. I gotta imagine back then it had to have been kind of weird being part of those the smaller colony areas. Of like, all right, this is my homeland, this is my people, this is mine.
I have my national identity, but then
these guys across the ocean are like, oh yeah, no, you're actually part of us, and we're gonna take care of you, and then end up getting neglected and
and this is why Janeway sucked as a captain on Star Trek Voyager, because she wasn't about her crew.
Well, I was taking it more to the whole, with what you were just describing with the Dominion and everything. That was that key ideology difference between the Federation and the Dominion. The Dominion lost, right?
Dominion lost.
Okay, but they were conquerors. They united everybody under the Dominion, and they weren't spreading themselves too thin.
They were benevolent gods and usurpers. But here's the thing: when we beat the Dominion, when the Federation beat,
this is real life, folks, guys. We're talking. This is a historical channel, just so you know.
I'm sorry. I got to extract myself from the murky depths of Star Trek that I put myself in.
If you couldn't hear, you heard his gasp when he goes.
Yeah, that's me pulling myself out
of that Matrix pod.
Yeah. When the Federation defeated the Dominion, they didn't kill them off. They could have easily did that orbital bombardment. They could have easily just, because for the Dominion, all those shapeshifters, they were either one massive shapeshifter or they were who knows how many different, separate entities. There was one shapeshifter who was actually on the Federation side. His name was Odo. He was the only shapeshifter who was fighting against the Dominion. And the thing is, the Dominion, they would never attack Odo directly because he was one of them. He just wasn't thinking right. He was a youngster who was fighting against his parents, and they didn't
rebelling.
He was just having this rebellious phase. He'd come back around. And even when he killed one, he actually killed another changeling, which was like their most heinous act.
Yeah.
They didn't kill him then. They had a chance to kill him. No, we're going to turn you into a human. They took his ability to shapeshift away from him.
Yeah.
Messed him up for a couple of episodes because he was like, oh crap, I got to actually breathe. I got to eat.
Yeah.
What's this? Piss? I got to piss now? He was like messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I can imagine that shit. But they punished him, but they didn't kill him.
Right. We
had a chance to just take them all out, and we didn't. And it's like, okay, we really should kill they've proven if you give them even an inch, They're not going to take just a mile. They're going to take the whole thing.
Yeah, they're going to start spreading again.
Yeah, but, being a federation, we're just, okay, you guys stay in your one big pool pond here and don't cause no trouble. Cause some trouble. You see that big laser up there in the sky? We're going to take we're going to point it right down there. We're going to cook all the rest of you up if you do that. And so, that's how it ends. Everybody makes peace. But basically, that's their trail of tears. You stay right here on this rock and don't you dare move. Otherwise laser beams are coming.
Right. Yeah, but back to your question. It all boils down to history gets dictated by the victor. I'm sure
when does it not, though?
I'm sure that some Indian nations would think differently. Us as God-fearing Americans,
of course they're going to think that.
We're going to presume, not necessarily, but it's all in the eyes of the beholder, is my final word on that.
Well, America was founded based off of the principle of, not founded, but expanded based on the principle of manifest destiny.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we kind of got real ambitious real quick as a fledgling nation. But to drop back to Star Trek, like I said, you have the Federation versus the Dominion, two different ideologies. The Dominion conquered and put everybody under Dominion control. The Federation went the more diplomatic approach. Yes, in some cases they had to beat the enemy first and then bring them over to their side and become allies. But they still maintained a separate identity, right? So you have the Klingons, you have the Romulans, you have the Vulcans, you have Earth, humanity, eventually the Ferengi, and all the various different Federation allies that are all in the Federation.
The umbrella.
But they're all separate nationalities, if you will, right?
Yeah, we didn't assimilate them. We just let them be autonomous in a way, but you're part of this overarching alliance.
Right. And so whenever it reflects into the modern day, we try to drive home too many people try to misuse the term of the melting pot for the US, trying to bring all these different people and all these different cultures in and everything. And it's like, you can do that, you can bring these different cultures in, but there is no dominant culture. The dominant culture of the United States is American, right?
Well, not anymore.
Well, yeah, it's not right this second.
Not anymore. They really did push that whole melting pot theory. Multiculturalism, that's what they call it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Before, it's kind of like, you want to come here? You want to live here? You better speak English. Everybody better understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay? Your name is Kalaganar? Nah, it's Coleman. Mm-hmm. Change that shit. Okay? You're Coleman now.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not. And it's only been in the last 20 or so years we got this. You're an African American. You're Italian American. You've never been to Africa. You wouldn't know South Africa from Angola to Uganda to Niger to Nigeria. And yes, those are two fucking countries. People get those things messed up. I don't know why. Well, what about Liberia? You don't even know what Liberia is. You don't know.
Point to it on a map right now.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay, so no, you're not an African American. I mean, there's some really legit. Okay, Elon Musk, he is an African American.
Mm-hmm. He's from South Africa.
He's from South Africa, and he is now an American citizen. So yes, he's one who's legit an African American.
But so that's my point, right? So the original idea of the melting pot was that you blend these cultures, blend these people in to the all-encompassing umbrella of American.
Yeah, that's how it used to work. It doesn't work like that anymore. In fact, it was so funny. We're in a predominantly founded Italian town.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could not, you would get an ass whooping to say otherwise.
Right.
Okay. But when you start asking me, hey, have you ever been to Italy? No, I've never been to Italy. Some people, there's some people with a particular name. They know where the foundation of their family came from Italy.
Yeah, they know the roots.
Sicily or
I know, we won't say their name because they're a big name in town.
Yep.
And so I found out rather quickly that they know their roots and they know where they're from and they know who the founding member of the town is. I'm like, holy crap. I'm really in it here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why there's like 4 or 5 like very popular last names
Yes.
in this area.
Yes.
It is
Very prominent families, and they own
just about everything.
Just about everything.
Oh,
in town.
okay.
Yeah.
I was a little lost for a second because I
Yeah.
don't know, but as soon as you said that, I'm like,
Yeah, you don't want to. No, don't open that bag of nuts.
No.
So, but they know that, but you don't hear them calling themselves Italian Americans.
No, they're Americans.
They're Americans, and some of them are very quick to point that distinction out. When they got all this other stuff, all this identity politics stuff. Miss me.
To me, all it is more ways that they could try to divide us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know, and
it
then
was
because
the
that's
smallest minority.
the individual.
Pisses my friends off when I say that. Pisses them off.
I can imagine.
I might be saying this wrong, but there's 2 separate things. There's nationality and there's cultural.
The difference between nationalism versus culturalism.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down to the whole identity thing. If you're
Culturally, I'm Slovakian. Nationally, I'm American. Through and through. I'm not a American.
That's not culturally.
That's not culturally.
Never mind, folks.
Genetically.
Yeah.
There we go. Better term.
Heritage.
Heritage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to look what my heritage is. I definitely would be a mutt mix.
Yeah,
I am
57
too,
for sure. I mean, honestly, depending, you're hard pressed to find people that aren't these days.
This is true.
My last name, and that's the coolest part of me, I think, anyway. Slovakian. Like I said, I'm a melting pot as well. I got all kind of.
Yeah, I'd say my last name is a French bastardization of an old German name, so like, yeah, there's definitely some mixing going on there.
Yeah, my kids took it and black and then it's like the whole term of African is like 7 different mixes in there, and then of course you got French and Irish and Italian, but it's like of those 3, that's the 50%. Those 3, and it's broken down 23%, 17%, and it's like that's mixed. But the other part where meat comes in, it's like it's a big old giant, and even that is like mixed up. It's so blended. It's like well.
So then I'll dig into just a little bit of deepness here with that broaching that topic, because it's like on the one hand, yes, it's very good to have those differences of ideologies, of kind of like steel sharpens steel, so men sharpen men, right? So that whole ideology of like, if you have competition, it doesn't have to be conflict, but competition, in a more modern society, competition has kind of somewhat replaced conflict. Having these differences of opinion, having these different ideologies, having these different resources and ideas, it creates a launching point for everybody to build up and rise up, because you have different ideas, right? If it wasn't for the idea that somebody could do something better, we'd still all be rocking candles right now.
I was about to say, everyone can have a different opinion. There should not be any.
But, right, so we have the melting pot theory of all these different cultures coming together. We're all Americans. Then that still divides us from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're all humans. And while I do not want New World Order, no, open border society, none of that shit. Absolutely fucking not. Because it comes down to my border is my front yard. So it's over my head. I don't get it.
The flag waving.
I was going to say the F-22s go overhead.
Star Spangled Banner plays.
Yeah.
Eagle screams in the distance.
Yeah.
Protesting with your drums down the street.
I do not want an open border society, but I do want more. I want competition without conflict. I want cooperation.
Yes. Everyone should have opinions, but there should be no bloodshed. There should not be, let's beat the fuck out of each other in the streets. We should be able to sit down, have a conversation without you getting assassinated on a stage. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, but Big Smoke, it's time to join hands in the Kumbaya circle. We're
Get your hand away from me. Get your hand away from me.
Grab my hand, Big Smoke. Peace.
Sorry. They just killed the motherfucker. I'm not here for that. So like I said, I'll give you war and I'll give you peace depending on what you offer me. You just killed a motherfucker. I'm not giving you any peace. I'm gonna give you a big giant closed fist across the jaw.
No, we cannot incite violence.
I'm not. No,
Charlie Kirk taught us better than this.
No, yes, he did. He taught you this. Like, look, let's battle this with words and opinions and ideas. Sure, they weren't winning that fight. He was clobbering them with that fight. So they killed him. And then they want to say, okay, that's freedom of speech. Okay, fine. My freedom of speech is you come to me with that kind of nonsense, I'm coming across your freaking head because I already know where you're going to go with it. You're not coming to me. You're trying to get close to me so you can end me. So being the kind of guy I am, you get too close, you get ended. That's just the way that is. I'm not talking about offensive force. I'm talking about lawful defense of my life. I mean, look, I'm not trying to make peace with anybody now. Listen, I'm like, before I was more than willing to debate and talk and all that good stuff. I still do. I still want to talk. But the minute you start coming at me with a little bit of friction, a little bit of fire in your gut.
Well, it's like we said earlier, offer one hand or send one hand, but arm the other.
Exactly. So I'm not offering you my hand. I'm offering you that very nice concealed weapon that I got. That's what I'm offering. And then I won't even say if you if you suspect that I'm carrying, okay, then you want to play nice. When you suspect, okay, this man, he's not playing that game. You come at me with any kind of smoke. Big Smoke has got already in its name. The Big Smoke is there for you.
It's got all the smoke.
Yeah, I got all the smoke you want. I'm going to give it to you. So that's why Janeway is a shitty captain.
I was actually going to circle back around.
We keep getting off topic. We're talking about how crappy this woman is.
Yeah, we were talking about how sci-fi reflects modern day problems.
I think we were talking about who our favorite captain was. Mine is Sisko. I think I've proven that the guy is a G.
I never said mine.
And you know.
And you never will. No.
And you're Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
And you're not in depth enough.
Yeah,
so
no.
You don't have an idea who you would want. Honestly, I think.
Hold on. You can't just be throwing false allegations
what the
out
hell,
there.
Big Smoke?
Prove me wrong, motherfucker.
Picard.
How? Why?
Dashing.
What?
Intellectual.
Let him explain it.
Go ahead.
Dashing. Intellectual.
Words.
He's
examples. Yeah, so you caught that motherfucker cold.
Jolly Green, you have the floor.
I mean, he kind of caught me cold. I'll be completely honest. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit here and try to be like, whoa.
I mean, I just feel like you got to list specific star dates or examples.
Yes, he does.
Hold on, let me grab my phone. No, I just feel like he's a little bit more level grounded. I feel like he would come up on a situation with a little bit, like you said, Kirk can get like floored a little bit. He can sometimes, he is for his crew. And he's for his people, and I love that.
But he's hot-headed and rash.
He's hot-headed and rash. Yeah, and I feel like
Sticky with his Johnson.
But yeah,
man after my own heart, man.
His compass is in his lower extremities. You know, I just feel like Picard's a little bit more. If I had to have somebody captain my ship, I feel like I'd want to be on a ship with. Oh my God, there's so many names. Picard. I feel like he would be the best. We're talking about a war. I feel like he would be a good admiral. I feel like he would be a good person to have to where he would come up with a good battle plan. Not downplaying Kirk, you know what I mean? He was an admiral himself. I like him. I like his dashingness. I love his intellectualness. I love there's a few times in the episodes where you're in the room and you're like, what's that? And he's like, this is an old blunderbuss from the Spanish-American War. He had a couple cool antiques in his room, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Look, I like Picard for the simple fact is the guy really could talk himself out of a box.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have that. He had that, and everybody admired him for basically being able to talk his way out of a box. He was really good at that. I mean,
he was the diplomat.
He really was the diplomat. If you really wanted two people not to kill each other into extinction, you sent that guy. So I give him that. But a lot of the problems that you got was for the fact that he was not quick enough on the draw. He always had to be. I mean, you had to be dragged. And honestly, it would have been in a lot quicker if he'd have just shot that cat rather than just allow many people to get killed and go, whoa, wait a minute. Too much shooting going on. Hang on. Put that phaser down. Put that phaser. Okay, well, let's talk about this.
Your inner Marine is just constantly glaring in these discussions, man. It really is just, no matter what, extreme violence up front and foremost.
Up front. Look, I'm talking business here. It really...
But if we keep coming from the line of that's the business that we're going to keep talking, then we're going to keep having these incidents.
And look,
we have to be prepared to match force and violence. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
But we don't lead with it.
Okay. Look.
Hold on.
Okay. Hang on. No.
You just talked.
I know, but I'm gonna bring something.
Okay.
Here's my olive branch. Here's my olive branch.
Here's my gun.
Okay. Here's my olive branch. Trump is our Picard.
Ooh.
Because
there's a lot of people that would disagree with that.
No. He's all about peace. He is all about peace. Who wants to get between Putin and Zelensky for what, almost a year now?
Right. Yeah.
Who wants to get in between those guys?
Nobody else.
Nobody wanted to get between them. And he inserted his very orange ass right in between them. Like, look,
got him in the same room.
yeah. It's like, hey, look, we're gonna have some peace here. If you're not gonna give me no peace, we're gonna choke your oil reserves, with sanctions. We're gonna make it to where your grandmother won't buy oil from you. But hey, how about we just chill out? Here's a good cigar for you, man. $200 a piece. Here, smoke that. Yeah, don't it taste good? How about some peace? How about we stop killing each other?
You like that? It's Cuban.
Yeah, he's the Picard of now.
Okay.
He's the Picard.
Okay.
I will give you that. We're not all about war, but on the same end, hey, dude, you want to run these freaking drug boats across the international waters? How about we press the button on that missile and send it up your ass? That's exactly.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'm across the board. I'm like, let me taste the wind. Let me taste the wind. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good. I'm absolutely.
What was that Picard line? You can test that assumption at your convenience. It's basically the classiest way of saying "fuck around and find out." So I definitely agree that I agree. Yeah, Trump's a Picard.
Here's my greater depth. Let's not get twisted. I don't like Picard, but I do admire the fact that when that cat was younger, when he was younger and had a full head of hair, that dude was hell on wheels.
Yeah.
He was always fighting as a cadet. He got stabbed through the freaking chest. Almost died.
Yeah, I think he got into more bar fights than Kirk did.
Yeah, he was a brawler.
Yeah, but that was the thing with his character, was that he learned from that, and that's why he is such a proponent of peace, is because he grew up in conflict.
Here's the messed up part. Q was fucking with him. Q said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna give you a choice. We'll give you a choice. You could not have this pivotal fight that nearly got you killed and changed your way of thinking, and you can go back, in that point in time and choose not to fight. Your friends are going to die. They were going to get killed in that fight. But if you choose to just stand back and let it happen, you'll be a totally different person." And he did that. And he never became captain. He became this lieutenant nobody who basically wasted his entire military career behind a desk and didn't do anything.
No.
But he still remembered who he used to be.
The old timeline.
And that messed him up. And he's like, nah, ninja. We gonna send me back. He went back and started whooping ass and got stabbed. And when he got stabbed, he was like laughing. He was like, yeah. Wow, that sucks.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And he ended up going back to where he wanted to be. So I get that. Still don't like his character, but I can respect.
But so to kind of cap into that, but also the previous talking point of conflict and this constant all right, they're fucking up bad, so we're gonna start escalating, right?
Yeah. To
take it way back to the Orville, I was talking about.
Orville? Okay.
So their villains in the early seasons, the Krill.
Yeah.
So
the little vampires.
Yeah.
Can't hang out in the daylight.
They're like vampire lizard guys, right? Very Trandoshan appearances, or albino Trandoshan appearances, right? But so, Star Wars. Like, comment, and subscribe. But so there was a key figure with the Krill who was like the sole survivor of Right, so the captain had to go on an undercover mission. They were wearing these like holographic projectors to disguise themselves as Krill to get a hold of their Bible. There's a school teacher on board the ship who's like, watching out for the kids and everything. And they end up going through, and in order to escape safely, they trigger all of the lights to get amplified with extra UV radiation.
Just burning the crap out
which
of everybody.
fries the entire crew except for the kids and the teacher.
Mhm.
And so the teacher comes back later in later episodes and is like, since that incident, I've realized how violent you humans are, and so now I've gotten some combat training. She became a spy, basically got herself genetically modified to become or to appear human, and infiltrated the Orville and was playing as the captain's girlfriend for like a couple of months. And until she was able to lure him away and basically capture them to interrogate and torture.
The hell out of
Yeah,
him. Man, that was messed up, dude.
But so the two of them, they capture everything. A different enemy of the Krill attacks their ship. The captain and the Krill that was playing his girlfriend the entire time
Had to run for it.
had to run, and they jump into the escape pods, hit a planet, and they have to work together to survive. Very Enemy Mine for one episode,
She could not travel during the day.
Right.
That was so messed up.
But also, like,
Why am I laughing?
but so the captain's all still tore up about it. He's like, deep down, like, even if you were in deep cover, like deep down, part of you was still in that character, that persona.
Some of it was real. Tell me it wasn't all lies. Simps.
But so they end up surviving. He calls the ship to come get him, and he says, "All right, call up your friends in the Krill, have them send a ship to come collect you. We're not taking you prisoner. We're not going to torture you. I'm just going to let you go." And she's like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Because if we want this war to end, eventually one of these sides has to stop shooting at the other. We have to stop escalating. It has to stop. The violence has to stop somewhere." And so while, yes, I understand the opinion on the modern day of, with what just happened with Charlie Kirk, with what's happened to several, so many instances that have been escalating and ramping up over these past few months, past couple of years. If we want it to stop, we don't end it by just slaughtering each other. We don't end it in a river of bloodshed. Yes, we've ended conflicts before with that. I understand, but we learn from those past mistakes. We be the Picard getting stabbed in the bar fight. We learn that doesn't solve it because it's
a Band-Aid on an eternal wound.
We've already been fighting each other for so long. We already see where that's gotten us. It's gotten us this far, and every year, every generation, we get a little bit more peaceful. Not harmless, like we discussed before, not harmless. We are still capable of violence. We still show up to the table armed. Throwback to our Armageddon trilogy episodes. You show up to the meeting, but you show up armed. But if we keep pushing towards not escalating the conflict, then I think we will eventually, as a society, move into a better position. If we want the Star Trek future, then I don't want us to have to go down that road of the post-apocalyptic. I don't want us to go
drug cyborgs.
Yeah, it just sounds awful, man. Cyborg, sure, but not the drugged up cyborg judges.
Sounds kind of cool. I don't know. Every time you say Krill, it reminds me of Krell off of the Mass Effect Andromeda.
The Drell?
Not the Drell. Nah. It's the enemies of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, that was the Krell. Huh.
Yeah.
But the Krill.
Yeah, the Krill. Every time you say it, I'm like, God, that's so close. Like, one syllable off.
I wonder if there was some influence there. Weird.
I don't know. Yeah. I wonder if you just took like patchwork from a bunch of different.
Yeah, it's almost like there's.
I had to watch it.
It's almost like all these different things influence each other.
Oh shoot, we forgot one captain, Captain Archer from Enterprise. Anybody ever watched that series?
Is that the new-ish?
It's Scott Bakula, the guy who did Quantum Leap. He was a captain of the very first generation Enterprise ship. Basically, it always ran from his fights. It was just basically plate armor. It wasn't even shields.
Yeah, that was like pre-warp, shields.
It was post-warp technology, but
was that the series that was on Andromeda?
No, that's a different show called Andromeda.
Yeah.
But this guy,
This was like a prequel series, basically.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The thing with this captain was he was pretty much shoot from the hip kind of guy. There a lot of their first contacts were like they were hidden fringe colonies, and these fringe colonies were basically loosely, democratic. Basically, if you weren't strong enough to defend yourself, you were food.
Mm.
And I remember there was this God, you guys never saw it, but there's this one episode where they had these big hulking green dudes. But they were subservient to the very feminine, very small, very voluptuous green girls, and they were the ones in charge, and they were the bloodthirsty ones.
Yeah.
It wasn't the guys. The guys were just the enforcers. And Backlund made a mistake getting involved with one of these chicks. Y'all gotta watch it.
It's on the list.
Yeah, he was like he had his guns on his hips. That wasn't just for show. He shot at a lot of people downrange.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people died on that show, on his crew, because they were constantly at war. They had a complement of Marines, yes sir, on that ship, and they were like, okay, we got to get this shit done. Send the Marines, and the Marines go down there, and no, they weren't negotiating. They were shooting up stuff. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, he was a decent fit, but the show didn't take. We also had like a Vulcan human love affair that went on there. There was a couple of scenes that were suggestive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was this chick was always half naked on the show. It was like,
well,
a lot of rewound moments.
When was that series on?
I don't even know.
So Star Trek Enterprise, right?
Star Trek Enterprise.
Enterprise. 2001 to 2005.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was in the midst of the big fantasy push, because that was when Lord of the Rings movies came out, Harry Potter movies were dropping, So I mean that's probably why it didn't do so. I mean, it got 4 years worth of airtime, but like
honestly, I
don't know why we go through these cyclical phases of everybody's into fantasy and then everybody's into sci-fi, and then it's fantasy and then it's sci-fi.
Trends.
And trends, yes, but I think
ebb and flow.
I think it's a sign of the times.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, think about what happened in 2001.
Come on, don't look at me. I'm not going to pull your bacon out of the fire this time. What happened in 2001?
I turned 5.
Think 4 planes, Twin Towers, New York City.
Yeah. That was in 2001? Holy shit. I swear to God, I was going to say that. I'm so glad I called myself. I was like, that was the 9/11.
I love the way the light went on and the childlike innocence goes, oh.
But so we were plunged into a global conflict very quickly and very suddenly, and so that's whenever that fantasy aspect kicks in, where it's it's war, it's heroicism, it's patriotism.
Team, brother, I love it that you're on the team. Yes.
But so when we circle back into the cyclical phase of society's not doing so hot. Why are we trending towards a dystopian future where mega corporations and fucking super cities are ruling the world, and that we have the nuclear wastes between. It's
I think we beat this horse to death.
Not yet. Hey,
that was a good episode too.
Yeah, I like it, man.
I'll fight both of you. Don't care if I win.
I love this show, man. I love it.
Wrapping up all the points, sci-fi does a great job of spotlighting the troubles that we're facing. Right now, we are still trending towards a dystopian future, but it doesn't have to be. We can take the examples and the messages and the lessons that these shows and these media, all these different pop culture things that we've all grown up with to push towards a more positive future. And we got to stop shooting at each other. We got to stop escalating. We got to de-escalate. We got to get people to the table, keep people talking, keep pushing out that peaceful
Use the voices.
And that's what I got. Man. I am the optimist. I want the optimistic future. I want that positive outlook. I want the nice, shiny Star Trek future. I don't want Fallout future.
No.
Look, I have no problem with what you just said. Nothing.
Good. Period. Full stop.
Okay. Full stop. I'll just sit here and look stoic. Okay.
Now, what am I, a fucking lefty? No, if you got a counterpoint, go ahead. Prove me wrong.
No. Look, we beat this horse to death. I'm gonna be the grown up in the room, and I'm gonna say, okay, amen. God bless you. God bless you. Peace. Amen.
Big Smoke using his words. So that's good.
Yeah, until end up in a dark alleyway somewhere.
Exactly. My gun's loaded. That's all there is to it.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there.
How Star Trek suddenly turned into the colonization of America. But
like I said, man, that's first off, that's our flow. You know? Topic, tangent. You know.
I had fun, love. I had fun.
That was a roller coaster.
That was a roller coaster ride.
Star Trek, feudal Japan, Mexican American War, Trail of Tears.
Hey man, every episode just covers.
History.
Like I'm starting to struggle to come up with these thumbnails. Like, all right, we talked about 20 different things. You know, what was the primary topic? You know, like the one going out today, man. Like that's like half of the show was us talking about boxing, and then we got into politics and global policy. You know, it was so we actually kind of rehashed a little bit with this one on some of that, but that's fine.
Just mic them up and let them go.
I'm good.
But if you guys have somehow stuck it out this long in the episode, thank you so much.
You're a legend.
You are amazing. Like, subscribe. Comment on your opinions, you know, throw some suggestions.
Let us know who your favorite captain is.
Shit, we should have asked that so long ago, man. We're so fucking bad at that. We need more audience interaction. So please, we want to engage. I'm going to throw some pinned comments under to really drive the point home. We'll throw some shorts together. That's what I've been doing with the shorts, clipping out the segments to get the discussions happening, get the engagement happening. But yeah, if you like, comment, subscribe, share it around. If you want to check out more social engagement, we have the Facebook page, Nightwatch Podcast on Facebook. If you want to support the channel, we've got the coffee page, ko-fi.com/nightwatchpodcast. And as of 2-3 days ago, we are now pushing the podcast out onto Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts as well. So
go check us out.
We are spreading. You know, listen to us everywhere.
Like a virulent virus, just spread.
Like the Federation spreading to the stars.
Like a fungus.
Yes. Like a fungus.
All right, folks, that's going to be it for tonight. Y'all have a good night. Be safe out there.
Good night.
Hey, Scotty, beam us up. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, time to empty out the mop bucket, run the trash, and hit the lights. Go get off my time clock and be safe getting home.